Welcome back to the 90s. All right, let's get this 90s party started. As a planner, I love a theme. So, we're going to talk today about how to study for the CMP exam in 90 days, this way, 90 days, from start to finish in only 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And in 90 days, you will be ready to pass your CMP exam. So, a little bit about who I am and why I'm qualified to help you through this process. I started my career in the 90s on the hotel side, working my way up from a PBX operator to the sales office. And I decided to make the switch to the meeting planning side and become a third party in 2009. And on the right there, I am at one of my clients' 80s parties. I so wish now that it would have been a 90s event because then the picture would fit perfectly for this 90s theme. Anyway, I finally found the courage to sit for the CMP exam in 2016, and I vowed that if I actually passed that exam, that I would help others through this process. When I was studying, I felt alone, always behind. I had a hard time getting answers to my questions and just wished I had a mentor to be able to reach out to. I know that I could have accomplished this goal a decade sooner if someone had been with me along the way. So when I started meetings together, I decided to create the very thing that I wished I had when I was becoming a CMP. And it's evolved from Pathway to Passing, which is my self-paced course, into programs like this 90s course based on what my students were saying that they needed and wanted. So I care about this designation so much, and I want to make sure that anyone who wants to become a CMP knows that they can and knows that they don't have to be alone through the process. So here are the requirements to apply to take the CMP exam. The first requirement is 3 years full-time meeting or event experience. It doesn't matter your title, as long as you're in the meeting and event industry for 3 years. Or you can have it for just 2 years, have been in the industry for 2 years with a hospitality degree. Then the second requirement is 25 clock hours of educational learning activities in the 9 domains that you will be testing in. So MPI or Smart Meetings webinars, any of my online courses, things like that. Not just an MPI networking event, it has to be approved educational content inside of a CMP domain. And then once you meet both of those requirements, then you can apply to take the exam. Now, I urge my students not to apply until they are more than halfway through studying for the exam. Once you apply that and you're accepted, that sets the clock to a 1-year application window. So within that 1 year of being accepted, you can take the exam. So until you've been through the material, I would definitely suggest waiting until you are more than halfway through the study period before you apply, even though you already meet the requirements. Okay, let's dive into the fun stuff. This 90s party course is designed to get you through in 90 days from start to finish. You'll need to block out 90-minute study blocks 5 days a week. This is an accelerated course because you get through it quickly, but it's not overwhelming because we break it down into 90-minute increments 5 days a week. You pick the days of the week based on your schedule and what you have going on that week. When you break things down into these small, manageable pieces, it's easier to get through and you aren't all stressed. When you complete a day and cross things off on your syllabus, you'll get to have these little mini celebrations each time, and this creates the momentum to keep moving forward. If you try to do too much too fast, you'll be good for a little bit, but then you're going to lose steam, and after a while, you're going to end up stalled out. You want to keep your learning sessions short and sweet. So you remember everything that you're learning in this study session, right? Do not cram for 4 hours straight. Your brain is not designed to retain that much intense information, no matter how long you have been in the industry. You want to keep your sessions short and you want to break things down. So breaking down the 90 days gets us 13 weeks. You pick the 5 days you're going to spend 90 minutes studying. Everything is recorded, so you can block that 90 minutes in the morning, or you can split it up and do 60 minutes in the morning, then the other 30 minutes at lunch. It's totally flexible based on your schedule. Now, at the bottom of the page here is the picture key that I'll go into more detail inside the syllabus. But whenever you see the teacup icon, that means that this day you're going to be reading a skill in your EIC book on your own, or following along with me reading inside the course. When you see the laptop icon right here, that's when you're going to be watching the skill video and so on. I have broken down the syllabus into days. Do you see how I keep taking something that seems large and scary and so much to do to prepare and just keep breaking it down into its smallest form so it becomes a quick small step, but it moves you forward one step in the right direction instead of staying stuck in confusion or overwhelm. So in week 1, these are all the small things that you are going to complete. Day 1, you'll watch Tiwatanya, right? Because you see the cup skill, and then you're going to watch skill 1 pathway videos. Now, as you complete them, cross them off, highlight them, check mark, whatever you like. Again, you pick the 5 days. You're going to write in the dates and times that you are going to review and study them. Looking at week 2, it's a little bit different, right? The only thing we're doing on week 2, day 1, is doing the Tiwatanya course or reading skill 4. It's going to be different each day because I have everything broken down into 90-minute segments. So it will take you 90 minutes to get through skill 4. Same goes for skill 5 on day 2. Now day 3, all you're doing this day is reviewing the pathway video on contract clauses. Now this day is not a full 90 minutes in the contract clause video because that's not that long. So you're going to spend any leftover time in your 90-minute time block inside of Quizlet, and you can see the link down there to sign up for Quizlet. This is a website that I loaded all of the glossary terms that you need to review, and they are in a digital flashcard format. It is so cool and something easy on the go that you can review with your phone while you're out and about. There's games you can play within Quizlet. It's a really great tool. There's areas where you can challenge other people that have a high score. So it's a really fun tool for learning. So some days you are going to max out your 90-minute time block, and some days you're going to finish early and use the rest of your time either in Quizlet or reviewing the materials or your notes or your binders, or going back through the material again. I promise you, you will never get bored and you're never going to be overwhelmed or stressed. If you stick to the schedule that I created for you, it will be a smooth sailing process. Once you sign up, you'll be emailed login credentials. Please use the same email that your EIC account is under so that I can properly track your educational hours. Now, if you don't have an EIC account yet, not to worry. I show you a step-by-step video on how to set one up. If you haven't learned already, I always break things down for you in an easy to understand way. Now, the platform that I use for my course is Kajabi, and it's also available to download to your phone so you can watch videos on the go or on your iPad. You don't have to be at a desktop for the courses, and there are also some audio files that you can even download, so you don't even need internet. That was an addition for one of my students who was going on a boat for a week and wanted to stay on track. So you can always have your courses with you wherever you go. Once you log in, you'll see all the courses that you have access to. The top one is the 90s course. So this is where all your pathway videos are and where you will spend most of your time. The course under it, this is the Tea with Tanya course. Remember the little teacup? And the course under that is the live webinar domain Zoom calls. So when you see the Zoom call icon, you go into the Zoom call course for that domain that you are in. Here is what you see when you click into the 90s course. Each category is broken down into weeks. So you always know what week you were supposed to be in. And as you watch and complete the videos, you'll have this bar that lights up green and it will tell you over here, you have completed 3 of 102 lessons. So it's always easy to see where you are and where you've left off. Clicking into week 1, this shows you all the pathway videos that you need to complete inside week 1. So everything you need to do in week 1 is going to be under week 1. You'll always know, again, where you are and what the next small step is when you're ready to take it. So you would watch the welcome video here, right? And then that would lead you into the skill 1 video, and then skill 2, then skill 3, and then so on. So each domain ends with a small quiz on the domain and a small quiz on some of the glossary terms within that section. There are over 1,000 glossary terms that the EIC wants you to review. You do not need to memorize their definitions word for word. You do need to be able to explain what the definition is in your words. So if you can explain it, then you don't need to study it. If you can't explain it, then you would want to make a note card for that. Do not make 1,000 note cards for all the glossary terms. Now remember, you're also going to be studying the glossary terms inside of Quizlet. So, like I said, each domain ends with a quiz, and at the end of each trimester, you'll have a trimester quiz, and all the questions will be all mixed up from the different domains. So you'll have one question, the first question may be from domain A, but the next question will be from domain C, and then one from B, and then another one from B, and another one from C, kind of all mixed up, just like on the real exam. Now, there are the questions and then 4 multiple choice answer options, just like on the real exam. So I want you to practice taking these long exams so you can train your brain for exam day. Now, the brain is a muscle, right? And just like any other muscle in our body, we need training, especially if we want it to perform at peak levels. There is a reason that people say this is a hard exam to pass, and not everybody passes on the first time taking it. It takes work and effort to learn the information. So remember that when you're taking these quizzes. And when you're taking the quizzes and you get one wrong, it doesn't necessarily mean that you would have missed a question on the exam. It just, you're going to look at these quiz questions and go back when you miss one and say, oh, I missed this one on KPIs, key performance indicators. I should probably go back and read in the books about KPIs. So that's what the quiz questions are for. They're not for you to memorize the quiz questions so you have them all memorized, because again, these questions aren't the questions on the actual exam. It's the concepts of them. So this is a look inside the Skill 1 video. As you can see, there are 5 lessons inside of this category. You will also see this downloads section that has all the PDFs that you can download straight from here and print. Now, if you don't have a printer at home, you can purchase a binder that I've put together with all the PowerPoints assembled per week. Now, once you have your presentation printed and in front of you, or your binder in front of you, then you would hit this green play button and then follow along with the PowerPoints. The 90s course will end with you going through Expressway to Passing. Now, this is the course I created when people were asking me if I had a short boot camp or something that wasn't as detailed as Pathway to Passing. So I shrunk Pathway into this 7-day course, 2 hours a day. So you'll be able to go back through the information inside this course, highlighting key takeaways. You'll be taking all new quizzes to make sure that you understood the concepts. And at the end of this course is a brand new 165 question mock exam, the exact amount of questions that are on your actual exam. Now, a lot of people ask me if the questions inside my course are the exact questions on the CMP exam. So listen up. No one knows what questions you will have on your exam. There are multiple questions in multiple exams, and new ones created and cycled through. The questions change. I've had students tell me that they've had a ton of exhibit questions on their test, and another student who tested the same week say that they had maybe 2 questions on exhibits. So the EIC is testing you to see if you understand how a meeting professional should perform. I'm going to teach you what the book says, but you have to comprehend it enough to be able to know how to respond and pick the best answer. The exam is not a test on reading the information in the book. So, for example, the book will teach you what a CVB does and what a DMO or PCO is, but you have to understand it enough. So if there's a question on the exam asking which of these organizations would you reach out to for XYZ, you would know the best answer based on how you learned what each of those are and what makes them different. What are their strengths based on what the question is really asking. So when you read the information in the book, you have to understand what you're reading, and that's what my PowerPoints do. They break down the information in an easy to learn way. Does that make sense? This program is designed to help you learn in a structured way. It's not designed to give you all the answers. I do want you to be successful, and my one goal with all my programs is to get you to passing. So I always talk about my 3 pillars to passing. I have an entire different webinar on these pillars, and I'm not going to get into that today. I just wanted to show you them and to talk about them. So in order to pass the CMP exam, you have to be confident that you can actually do it. You have to map out a plan on how you're going to accomplish this goal, and you have to promise to stay the path when the excitement wears off. It all starts with you. I can give you the keys to that shiny red convertible with my courses, but you have to be the one that turns the key and steps on the gas and goes through all the information. Now, the best part is I want to be here for you every small step of the way, and I will be here for you to make sure that you are taking those small steps forward.